So he's got to kill this prisoner. So he takes the prisoner out of the woods, he snaps his neck, he comes back, same exact thing that happened in the show. And you know, when I'm telling you this story, it's like I pitch it to the writer, so you got to make as few changes as possible because you don't want them to have to do too much. But so you keep it the exact same way, and then when Shane comes back and says the prisoner escaped, he and Rick go looking for the prisoner, the same thing that happened. Shane and Rick are looking in the woods for the prisoner. All of a sudden, Shane stops. Rick says, "Why are you stopping? We got to find the prisoner." Same as what happened in the show. And Shane says, "No, we don't. I killed the prisoner. I snapped his neck. That's what you should have done." And Rick says, "What are you talking about?" And Shane draws his gun, same as in the show, points his gun at Rick. He says, "Come on, be a man, you know, I'm right here, let's fight for Lori, let's fight for Carl, I'm the father," all that kind of stuff. And as in the show, Rick takes his gun and says, "I'm not going to fight you, man, you're my brother, I'm not going to go there." And this is the first change. Instead of holding his gun out, he says, "Hey, look, you're going to have to shoot an unarmed man," and he throws his gun. This makes Shane go crazy, so Shane approaches Rick, puts the gun right up to Rick's face and says, "You know, you've got a broken boy and a broken woman and a weak boy and all that stuff," and he really pushes, say something disgusting like, "I know what your wife tastes like," or something like that, to really push Rick, because he's really gone off the deep end, and he's pushing him, and then as in what happened, Rick stabs old Shane in the stomach, and he falls down on the ground. As Shane starts to reanimate into a zombie, he starts to get up. But now remember, that change I said, Rick is throwing his gun. So when Shane starts to pop up as a zombie, Rick grabs Shane's gun, which is right there, and points it at Shane, at zombie Shane, as zombie Shane is coming towards Rick. And Rick points the gun at Shane, and it just goes click, click, click. Then out of nowhere, Carl blasts him, and Rick looks at the gun, and he sees that the gun was never loaded. And so Shane brought Rick out of that woods to make him kill him. And see how we're getting kind of a half applause? That's sort of what I got from the records too. What's cool about it is I'm glad they did it the way they did, because I think that all of that was sort of incorporated, and I really believe that Shane really didn't have it in him to kill Rick and to take Carl's father from him and take Lori's husband from him. And I think, you know, Shane got so far gone that there was a part of him that knew that he was really kind of becoming a cancer for the group, and he had to be taken out. And I don't think you point a gun at Rick Grimes unless you're ready to use it. So, you know. Anyway, that's my alternate. In the very beginning of season 1, which is something that never aired that you never saw, was it picked up right when we were leaving the CDC from last year. So the thing was blowing up, and we were all leaving. And we were pulling out in our caravan, and you know, Shane was in the back in his little Jeep, you know, and the Jeep actually runs out of gas. And there's this shot of everybody kind of leaving, and he starts hitting his horn, he starts screaming like, "Rick, Rick!" And they all just left Shane's ass there. So I was like, good. And that's how the season started. So Shane, as he's screaming and screaming, what does screaming do if it attracts zombies? He looks behind him, and there was like 300 zombies all coming up to the Jeep. So Shane looks around, he grabs his shotgun, and he just starts running. And this was going to be the opening of season 2. So these zombies were chasing me down the road, and what sucked was it was about 103 degrees that day. And I had to run from zombies the whole time, and I had to keep on falling and getting up, because what was discovered in that is that zombies never get tired. So the whole thing was that I was running for miles and miles and miles, but these zombies kept their pace, and slowly they were you know, gaining on me, and I kept falling and getting up, and right when they were about to get on me, I turned around and I started blasting them, and then I ran out of bullets, and they were about to get me, and then all of a sudden, the RV comes slamming through and runs over about 30 zombies, and Rick's there, he grabs me into the RV, and he saves my life. And that's how season 2 was going to start. We shot that, but it never aired. So what they were going to do with the shot that you're talking about, with me just staring off, was, because it was right after he came back and rescued me when I was in the school bus. So there was a scene that we shot that they were going to end up airing in that episode that you're talking about, in place of me looking at the guy in the field, which was going to be a flashback to the day where he saved me in the RV. And I said to him, you know, "Thanks for saving me, brother." He says, "I'll never leave you behind." And they ended up not using that. I don't know why, but they didn't. And so I think what that was supposed to, so they, you know, the lone zombie, I think, was, you know, the way what was going through my head when we actually shot it was really just, you know, kind of like it was just to like kind of look at the hopelessness of this world, and I think the kind of loneliness of Shane's character. I mean, that's sort of the key of who this guy is, at least to me. And man, I'm just rambling, aren't I? I apologize for that. But I mean, like, you know, for me, that's kind of the key with Shane is he's an unbelievably lonely guy, because I think there's two kinds of loneliness in this world. There's the loneliness that you suffer when you're really far away from the people you love. But there's another kind of loneliness when the people you love are right there with you, but you can't be with them the way you want to. And I think we all know that kind of loneliness. And I think that's the kind of loneliness that can drive you to do unbelievably wonderful things, like go and shoot old Otis and save a little boy's life. Or it can drive you to doing pretty awful, crazy things. And I think that's eventually what happened with Shane.
Thank you.
Proud of you.